Hey, what's going on the YouTube? It's SEO0320 representing JVS. So I'm back again for another review. I was blessed with the opportunity to be able to see Jurassic World, The Fallen Kingdom early. So this is the sequel to the hit Jurassic World with Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard and a couple other people. But was this one a serviceable sequel? In different ways, yes and no. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to dissect the basics, like what is the videography and the VFX work, how well was that done, how was the tone. We're going to try to break down as far as the acting or the actors in this one. And then in addition to that, we're going to talk about what I liked and what I didn't like, unfortunately, about Jurassic World, The Fallen Kingdom. Okay? So as far as the VFX, I think the VFX are great. Like what they were able to do with the dinosaurs, they seem even better than they've ever been before. There was this one like capture scene where like somebody was looking on a computer and it was Chris Pratt's character interacting with Blue. And Blue as a little baby raptor, and it looked real. Like, I think I've seen that footage a long time ago, but it looked so real, so organic. The very beginning of the movie, tonally, I was like, yo, this is bringing me back to the old Jurassic Park 1 days. Like, it felt dark, it felt visceral, and it was like, I was on the edge of my seat. I was like, I know this is going to end bad, but there's nothing I can do with it. I just have to ride it along. And I think that if the rest of the movie was like that, it would have been a whole different atmosphere. Now, the first two acts of this film, they definitely explore a lot what's going on the island. The island itself is about to, as you can allude to from the trailers, that there's a volcano there and it's about to erupt. And they're trying to figure out how they can get all the dinosaurs off. Now, you can imagine the VFX is just all over the place. Like, some of the shots, there's one shot where Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard, and a young boy, they're literally running and trying to escape from getting trampled on by the dinosaurs while you seeing like all these different sulfur and ash and like lava hitting everywhere. And it's very well captured. Like, it looks real, it looks all in your face. Is it believable? That's a whole different thing. We'll get to that a little bit sooner. But I think the VFX is top notch. They did a great job as far as the VFX and the cinematography. Like some of the scope panned out shots. There's this area where they went to. It was just capturing the house. I thought it was a really well captured pan out. When the island itself gets engulfed with the situation, like you could tell, like there's real scope to this. And I think they did a really good job capturing a lot of the cinematography and the VFX work. I think those were top notch. As far as the actors in this one, Chris Pratt is the most charismatic dude ever. I apologize for you Instagram / Stardust people. I did say Chris Pratt. That was my fault. Don't get me on it. But yeah, Chris Pratt is the man. And I think with this role, he embraces it. Honestly, to me, I think that it could have just been him the entire movie and I'd been fine. And I'll get to why I said that in just a second because that's kind of going into the negatives. But I think that he was perfect. I didn't have one issue with him. Even jokes that didn't really land, he has this way of just flowing with the scene in such a way that's like he's a top-notch actor. He's a top-notch action hero. Matter of fact, they give him a couple things in the third act. I was like, yo, you're doing more work than you do in Star-Lord. As Star-Lord. And I was like, this is unbelievable. But he pulls it off, like, effortlessly. Bryce Dallas Howard, she's always great. Like, she's a great actress in general. Their split up didn't really make a lot of sense to me. I think organically things like that can happen. But then when they're just put right back into the fold, I was like, was that really a needed story arc for her? I think that they did a lot with her that I think honestly just didn't service her character. It didn't really give her enough to do because it kind of had her just tagging along and kind of like initializing things that happened. And I don't think that it serviced her character in this movie. I don't really think she was actually needed for this film, except for the very beginning. Which, I mean, maybe they'll do more with it with the next film, but in this film, I just didn't think they really needed her. Jeff Goldblum, he's Jeff Goldblum. When you see him for the short amount of time, it's not a lot. Like, I'm not going to sit there and make you guys believe that he has a lot of scenes. He doesn't. But when he actually is on scene, they did a really good job with what he has to convey and what his thought process is about dinosaurs right now. And I think that, matter of fact, it alludes to certain things moving forward into the next movie. Now, you got two young actors in Justice Smith and I think her name is Danella Pindella. Danella plays Zia, and then Justice plays Franklin. Franklin is this geeky black kid, and he's just really there to try to help do all the tech stuff. He really is very afraid and out of it. My wife, she loved his character. I was kind of on the fence about it. I was like, he better get with the flow, and he does. He rolls with the punches effortlessly as an actor. But it's like, do you connect with his character? I don't think that some people probably won't connect with his character as much as I think they wanted it to. And that might disservice the film in the long term, but I didn't have a problem with it. I thought it was hilarious a lot of the times that he actually was on scene. Now, as far as the character Zia, she's the one that's more along the lines of the hands-on. Like, she's wanting to protect this. She wants to take care of this animal. She wants to go and figure out, oh, wow, what is this dinosaur? And I'm sitting there like, y'all stop her. Like, tell her this is dangerous, this is not a good idea, but then she does come through in the clutch. By the second act and the third act, she does do a lot to initialize some of the things that happen as far as the continuity of the story. But the thing about Daniela, she was on a show that I love in the originals. I loved her in the originals the first season. I don't even remember what happened to her character, but she does a really good job in this. I'm glad to see her get a big screen movie role because she's actually a really good actress. Now, everybody else, with the exception of James Cromwell. James Cromwell plays the role of Benjamin Lockwood, who's very much so connected with the inception and the beginning stages of Jurassic World, like figuring out how to clone the dinosaurs, figuring out how this happens. And he's got a little daughter. I forget the daughter's name. What is the little girl's name? I think it's Macy. Macy is this little girl that she's just in love with dinosaurs. She's wanted to do this, she wanted to do that. She reminds me of the young little girl in the very first movie. But it was like, some of the things they do with Macy is very different. It throws you off when you finally get what they're doing with her character. And then some of the decisions that she makes really changes the scope of the rest of this movie moving forward. And that might either, one, detract from the movie for you, or it might excel you wanting to see more. And I think that was really interesting, if not anything else. But Benjamin Lockwood and his character, you'll get a lot full from that. This is non-spoiler review, so I don't want to spoil anything. But it is very important. So make sure you pay attention to everything that he's doing and everything Macy's doing throughout the movie. Now, all the rest of the people, I could care less about. Because the villains don't work, you guys. They have my man Tev Levy in there as a villain. Didn't work for me. I think they also had, what's my man's name? The dude that plays Dr. Wu, he's back. He was actually in Gotham. I love him in Gotham, but it was like he was only here for a little bit of time. It looked like he learned a lot from the last one because he was the one that made it out. He was on there for a little bit. Toby Jones played this guy named Mr. Earnsel. You never get his first name. As soon as he comes into the film, I'm telling you, as soon as he comes into the film, you're like, this is going like this. And it's sad, but the first two acts are set up perfectly. The first two acts, I think, are very interesting. They're taking into the vein of the original, but at the same time, they're trying to extend it to something different. And somewhere along the mix of that, they get to these three villains, and it just doesn't work, bro. It really doesn't. And it's like, it's so telegraphed, and it's cliche, and it's just dumb. Like, some of the villains' choices in what they're doing, you can believe that this is not going to work out for you. Why would you do this? You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, you got great performances in Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard, but the situation that they're in is because of a stupid one, so you know that certain things are just not going to happen one way or another. And it's like, to me, it kind of takes away from the film on so many different levels. By the time I got to the third act, I was kind of like out of it, man. I was like, I know what's going to happen. I know how this is going to go. The only thing that really saves it is, again, certain things and choices that certain key characters make, that if you are in love with this franchise, the franchise will be changed forever in your perception. And I think that the next movie, I can't wait for the next movie. And I know that sounds so weird that the third act failed me personally, but there's something that happens in the third act that makes me like, I gotta see the next movie. And it's so weird to say because now I'm kind of feeling indifferent. Like, I want to sit there and tell you guys that this deflated the movie because of the third act, but then there's something that happens that makes me want to see the next. I have to see where this is gonna go. And yeah, I can't say too much more. But in general, I think it's a fun time. You can definitely take your family to go see it. It's definitely a family film. There's certain scary moments that might be a little too much for kids. Like, Macy gets put in one situation in this bedroom that I was like, Macy, what you doing? What is happening right now? But even like Chris Pratt put in some really messed up situations, but he rises to the occasion like he's daggone the Winter Soldier. But I digress about the third act. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. All I know is that it's something that you can enjoy. But if you care about this franchise, you're going to definitely look forward to what happens next. I give this a 7.5 out of 10. I wanted to give it a little bit more, but unfortunately the third act just didn't work for me. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this review. Please let me know what you guys think with Stardust app. Go down to the description bar below, click it, it'll install it for you. And it basically allows you to give 30 seconds worth of your thoughts about the film. Make sure you tag us at JVS so we'll know what you thought about Jurassic World: The Fallen Kingdom. Keep it locked. JVS, we ain't gonna stop. Have a blessed one, guys. Peace.